Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Back with another video. Today I want to talk about the pre-trip. Yeah, that's a little challenging for some. You know, besides the challenge of just getting into Walmart, which can be hard by itself, I think the pre-trip is perhaps the thing that knocks people out the quickest. Because Walmart demands a pretty thorough pre-trip. And for some people, a good pre-trip is nothing more than a distant memory, Either that or they never learned a proper, thorough pre-trip to begin with. So we're going to go over some of that today. But first, let me tell you that I can't give you the official Walmart pre-trip. Only Walmart can do that, I'm going to show you my pre-trip that I try to model after Walmart's pre-trip. If you do something wrong, then, Rich said it's like this. Yeah, so this is not the official pre-trip. But I can tell you that if you practice this and do it the way I do it, you're going to pass perfectly. So, don't sweat that. So let's get into that. Now, Walmart's pre-trip, thorough as it is, you're given some cushion. You can miss a few things. I don't know how many things, they don't tell you, but you can miss some things and still pass. So you don't have to be perfect. So don't go into it with that mentality that, oh my God, I got to get everything exactly right or I'm going to fail and get sent home. You have some cushion. You have some mistakes that you can make. However, there are 5 majors, and by majors I mean these are things that you have to get. They're auto fail if you don't get them. Now that doesn't mean you get sent home that day. It means you have to come back the following day and try again. So we're going to go over those 5 majors right now. Number 1 is you have to physically touch every lug nut on this truck and trailer and check it for tightness. You turn it to the left like this. Like this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that's major number 1. All 100 lug nuts you have to check for tightness by hand. If you forget, you're going to fail that day. If you forget one wheel and do all the other ones, if you do 90 of them and forget those last 10, you're going to fail that day. You got to come back the next day and try it again. So don't forget that. Major number 2 is your seatbelt. When you get in the truck, you're going to take that seatbelt, pull it all out, look all over it, inspect it for rips and tears and frays and that kind of stuff. Make sure it latches and unlatches securely. That's it. That's simple. But some people forget that. If you forget it, you're going to fail the pre-trip that day. You got to come back the next day and try it again. So that's number 2. Number 3 is when you couple to your trailer, make sure you do a tug test. Very simple thing. That should be part of your habit anyways, but make sure you do it during that pre-trip test. Give it a couple tugs. Major number 4 is to make sure your jaws are wrapped around your kingpin after you couple to the trailer. Crawl under there, look up, and make sure your jaws are wrapped around the kingpin. And also mention that there's no space in between the 5th wheel and the apron. That's not listed as a major, but that's pretty major. So that's number 4. And lastly, the 5th major is your tandem pins. Make sure your tandem pins on both sides are engaged, on both sides of the trailer. There's 4 pins all together, 2 on each side. So make sure you mention those. And all of these things, if you remember them before you complete your pre-trip, you can go back and do them, So it's not like if you happen to pass by it and then remember it, oh dang it, I'm toast. No, you can go back and get it. So those are your 5 majors. Keep those in mind. Don't forget them. So you're given 30 minutes to complete the pre-trip. That includes the truck, trailer, and end cab. It's plenty of time. It doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it's plenty of time. If you practice and do everything in an order. Try to be very thorough with what you do. And speaking of thorough, the pre-trip that I'm going to show you today is probably a little more thorough than than what they're going to have you do at onboarding. But on day one of onboarding, they're going to take you out there, and the trainers are going to show you the pre-trip. They're going to show you what they call their expectations of you. They're going to demonstrate the pre-trip, and that's your chance to take notes, mental notes, physical notes. Pay attention. You know, you're going to be given a guide, a pre-trip guide, so you can make notes in the guide, whatever you need to do. Pay attention to what they do and mimic them. That includes the verbiage that they use. You know, some of you may still remember the original CDL exam where you have to say, you know, properly mounted and secure, this is not cracked, bent, or broken, no abrasions, bulges, or cuts for every single item, you know, that you inspect. They don't make you do that. They're not going to make you strictly adhere to that verbiage. They just want to see that you know what to look for, you know, that kind of thing. So you can look at a part and say, yeah, this is good, this is not broken, this doesn't have any cuts or abrasions, that kind of a thing. But my point is, pay attention to what they tell you. They're at onboarding, and follow their example. That's the best way to do it. I can't tell you what they're going to say or what they're going to want you to say. So just pay attention to that. But don't go into it thinking you have to just recite this exact language verbatim, because it isn't like that. They're pretty casual about it. They're serious, but they're casual. Just show them that you know what you're looking for. All right, let's get into this. It feels like it's about 127 degrees outside, but I'm going to go brave the heat for you guys to get this done. I've been wanting to get this video out there. You know, people have been asking about it, so I'm going to give it a shot. Like I said, you're given 30 minutes to do it at onboarding. I don't think I'll be able to do it in 30 minutes today because I'm going to be stopping and explaining things as I go. But let's get after it. Okay, before you start, you're going to want to have yourself prepped. Have your hammer ready, have your hood latches unlocked, both sides, and have both of your side doors open so you can access your fire extinguisher on this side and your triangles on the other side. Internationals are different. They have the fire extinguisher next to the driver's seat, but the point is, prep yourself prior to starting the exam or the pre-trip test. Okay, they're not going to start the clock until you start talking, so if you think you're ready, go for it. Alright, here we go. We have no damage on the truck. The marker lights up top are working. The windshield is free of any cracks or breaks. Both hood mirrors are present. The headlights and flashers are working. The license plate is present. There's no leaks or drips under the truck, and it isn't leaning one way or the other. Now we'll pop the hood and do this one-handed, so bear with me. Okay, you can group things together. All my electrical lines and hoses are attached front and back. No signs of abrasions, bulges, or cuts, or ABCs for short. All my clamps are present and tight. My fan belt is not ripped or frayed. My fan itself is in good shape. My frame is in good shape. No signs of damage. Shock absorber is mounted top and bottom. No leaks. Leaf spring is attached front and back. No cracks or breaks. Spring hangers are both in good shape. No breaks. U-bolts are good, no signs of damage, both nuts are present. The steering arm and drive axle neither have sign of damage. Brake hose has no ABCs. Brake chamber and brake caliper, both no signs of damage. The brake lining is good, no debris. The brake rotor is free of any bluing, gouges, or grease. The inner rim, no cracks. The inner sidewall, outer sidewall, and tread all have no ABCs. No signs of uneven wear. Tread depth is the proper depth. Filled to the right pressure. Outer rim has no cracks. Check your lug nuts, like we said, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Hub is not leaking. Again, you're going to be using both hands, so you're checking both sides at once to get all 10. Now we move around to the driver's side. Alright, start up top. Coolant reservoir is full of fluid, it's not leaking. All my hoses and lines are attached front and back, no ABCs. All my clamps are present and tight. You're going to check your oil. I won't do it one-handed, but you check your oil. Power steering reservoir is full of fluid and not leaking. My power steering hose is attached on both ends, no ABCs. The steering column is good, no damage. Steering gearbox is attached. The suspension parts, the pitman arm, tie rod end, and drag link are all in good shape. All the castle nuts and cotter pins are present. The leaf spring is attached front and back, not broken. Spring hangers are both good, not broken. U-bolts are good, not broken, no missing nuts. Shock absorber is attached top and bottom. It is not leaking. My brake hose is attached front and back, and it is no ABCs. Brake chamber and brake caliper, both no damage. Brake lining is the correct thickness. The brake rotor, no signs of bluing, gouges, or grease. The inner rim has no cracks. Both sidewalls and the tread have no ABCs. Tread depth is the proper depth. No signs of uneven wear. Filled to the right pressure. Outer rim, no cracks. Check your lugs, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Hub is not leaking, no loose lug nuts. Then once you are complete with your engine, you shut the hood. Don't forget to shut the hood. And don't forget to latch it. Very important. Oh, come on. And with this will complete our engine pre-trip. Okay, continuing with the truck. Come first to our inspection sticker. Make sure it's present and current. We show no damage on the side of the truck or the skirting. The steps are secure and free of any debris. Window glass and the mirror are both free of any cracks or breaks. We have our IFTA sticker right here, current. Have our fire extinguisher charged. Def cap is on and tight. Fuel cap is on and tight. Both of our directionals or flashers are working. Your side fairings are both in good shape, no damage. We have our reflective L's, our two reflective L's in the corners. They are present. Fuel tanks are secure, no damage. Steps and catwalk are both secure, no damage, no debris. Drive shaft and U-joint are in good shape, no damage. Frame and cross members are all in good shape. Fender is present and in good shape. Now we go with another axle. Brake hoses are free of any ABCs attached on both ends. Brake chamber and brake caliper are both free of any damage. The brake lining is the correct thickness and free of any debris. The brake rotor is free of any bluing, gouges, or grease. The U-bolts are free of damage. All the nuts are present. The suspension arm is attached on both ends, not cracked. The shock absorber is attached top and bottom, not leaking. That's everything there. My sidewalls, all of my sidewalls, and both treads are free of ABCs. No signs of uneven tread wear. The tread depth is the proper depth. Filled to the right pressure. Outer rim, no cracks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All the nuts are tight. No leaking hub. No debris in between the gap, in between the tires on either one of them. Airbags are inflated, no ABCs. While you're right here, talk about your fifth wheel. My fifth wheel is present, not broken or cracked. The release arm is in the open position. All the mounting hardware is present, no missing bolts. The slider locks are locked in place. Now another axle. Our brake hoses, no ABCs attached on both ends. Brake chamber and brake caliper are both no damage. Brake friction material is present and the right thickness, no debris. The brake rotor is free of any bluing, gouges, or grease. The inner rim is free of any cracks. The U-bolts are not damaged. All the nuts are present. Suspension arm is attached front and bottom, not cracked. Shock absorber is attached top and bottom, no leaks. All of my sidewalls and treads are free of ABCs. Tread depth is the right depth. No signs of uneven wear, and both filled to the right pressure. Lug nuts, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All my lug nuts are tight. Outer rim is not cracked. Hub is not leaking. Airbag in the back is inflated, no ABCs. Mud flaps are both present, as is the mounting arms. No damage. We have our reflective tape on each. My lights in the back are working. Again, no debris in between the tires. Come over to this side. Airbag is inflated, no ABCs. Shock absorbers attached top and bottom, not leaking. Suspension arms attached front and back, no damage. U-bolts are attached, no missing nuts. You go in here and see our brake lines are attached front or attached at each end, no ABCs. Brake chamber, brake caliper are both not damaged. Brake friction material is a proper thickness, no debris. Brake rotor is free of any bluing, grease, or gouges. The inner rim has no cracks. All my sidewalls and tread are free of any ABCs. Tread depth is the right depth. No signs of uneven wear. Filled to the right pressure. Outer rim has no cracks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All the lug nuts are tight. No leaks in my hub. Front airbag is inflated, no ABCs. Shock absorbers attached top and bottom, is not leaking. Suspension arm is attached front and back, it is not cracked. Brake hoses are attached at both ends, no ABCs. Brake chamber and brake caliper are both no damage. Brake friction material is a proper thickness, no debris, and the brake rotor is free of any bluing, gouges, or grease. The inner rim is not cracked. My U-bolts are not damaged. All the nuts are present. Sidewalls and tread are all free of ABCs. Proper tread depth. No signs of uneven wear. Filled to the right pressure. No debris in between any of the tires. Outer rim is not cracked. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All the lug nuts are tight. No leaking hub. This fender is present, not damaged. My fuel tank is mounted and secure, not damaged, not leaking. One thing I didn't check, which I kind of mentioned it already, is your fifth wheel jaws are definitely open. Your flashers are working on this side. No damage on the side of your truck at all, the skirting or the truck. You have your current IFTA sticker on this side, and you have your triangles right here. Fuel cap is present and tight. The steps are secure, free of any debris and damage. The glass and the mirror are both undamaged. And this is where you think about it and say, I think I got everything. So I think I got everything. Okay, so when you're done with your truck, you'll then be coupling to your trailer. And again, once you're sure you've covered everything, go ahead and tell the examiner or the trainer, I'm going to be coupling to my trailer now. And they stop the clock. That's when they stop and say, okay, take your time getting up in there, coupling to your trailer. So what you're going to do is, well, obviously you're going to get in the truck, and when you get in, get up in that seat, leave the door open. The trainer is going to be standing roughly where I am. Get in there and pull your seatbelt out. Inspect your seatbelt real well, because that's another major right there. That's major number 2. Inspect it, say there's no rips or frays, and then latch it and unlatch it. Show him that it latches and unlatches securely. Don't miss that step. The beauty of doing it while he has stopped the clock is you're not losing any time by doing that. Follow what I'm saying? So that's a good way to knock that major out of the way while you're off the clock. And once you do that, you start the truck up and toot your horn, back up, and you don't back up under the trailer yet. You'll come to where you're just in front of it. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so you finished your truck inspection, told the examiner you're going to hook to your trailer. You come, hop in there, show them your seatbelt's not ripped and it latches and unlatches, that kind of thing. Close your door, put your seatbelt on after that. Every time you back up, every time you get in this truck, make sure you put your seatbelt on. I think I already told you that, but if I didn't, make sure you do it. So toot your horn before you back up. Every single time you back up, toot your horn. And you're going to come back to where you're right about here. And then you get out and make sure that you have the proper height and alignment to hook up to this trailer. They want to keep you from, skewering the front of the trailer. So once you demonstrate that, you're still off the clock right now, by the way. So once you demonstrate that you're lined up, you can get back in, put your seatbelt back on, toot your horn, and back under the trailer and hook up. Be right back. Hey, you've backed onto the trailer. You're still in the truck at this point. You've backed onto the trailer and heard the click, felt the trailer. Make sure you do a tug test. That's major number 3. Don't forget your tug test. Just give it a couple of easy tugs, just enough to show that you did a tug test. And then and only then can you shut your truck off, take your seatbelt off, and get out and hook up to your trailer. So here we go. Now we're doing the trailer. Alright, this is where you inspect your air lines and electrical wire. I'll try to do this one-handed. I should be able to do it. Hang with me. Inspect your glad hand seals. Make sure your glad hand seals are good. Hook up. And make sure you mention that you're inspecting the glad hand seals. They want to hear you say it. Alright, that's all hooked up. Again, you mentioned you have no ABCs on your air hoses, no exposed wires. Your stuff isn't dragging on the catwalk. It's all suspended properly. Then go right straight to your fifth wheel. Mention there's no gap, no space in between your fifth wheel and your apron. That's not really listed as a major, but it's pretty important. They want you to say that. And also make sure you say that your release arm is in the fully locked position. And then you're going to crawl under here and do the visual check that your jaws are locked onto your kingpin. That's major number 4. Don't forget it. And then we have to crank up the landing gear. They like you to have one arm or one hand on the trailer for support and crank it. Don't do the spin thing. Just crank it. So, sorry to make you sit through this, but this is part of it. Raise it all the way up, put the arm in its cradle, and we switch hands. Alright, now you're inspecting the trailer. Okay, trailer inspection. Normally when you're here hooking up your airlines, you can do this. Check to make sure your trailer inspection is good, up to date. Pop this open, make sure your registration for the trailer is present and up to date, and make sure the trailer number on the registration matches the actual number on the trailer, which is right there. Alright, no damage down the side of my trailer. DOT reflective tape is all the way down. Landing gear, no damage, everything's good. Sand pads are good. See that my running light and flashers are working. And then we're going to crawl up under here. Look back there, make sure, tell them all the cross members are fine, no damage. And you can group things together down here, such as, leaf springs on both sides are attached on both ends, free of any damage, no missing leaves. The U-bolts on both sides are good, no missing nuts. Spring hangers on both sides are good, no damage. Suspension arms on both sides are good, no damage. Both brake hoses are good, no ABCs. Brake chambers and brake calipers on both sides are good. Brake friction material on both sides is good, it's the right thickness. Brake rotor free of any gouges, bluing, or grease on both sides. The inner rim, both of them are not cracked. Was that it down here? Yep, that's it. And you mentioned my sidewalls. All my sidewalls and treads are free of ABCs. Tread depth is a proper depth, no signs of uneven tire wear, and they're filled to the right pressure. No debris in the middle of the tires. Outer rim is not cracked. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All the nuts are tight, no leaking hub. And then while you're right here, bam, hit this last major. Your tandem pins. Both of them are engaged. Don't forget your tandem pins. Mud flaps are present. no damage. Same thing, you group things together. My leaf springs, both sides, no damage, no cracks, no missing leaves. The U-bolts are good, no missing nuts on both sides. Both air hoses are good, no ABCs. Both brake chambers and brake calipers are good on each side. Friction material on each side is good, the right thickness. Brake rotor is free of any bluing, grease, or gouges on both sides. Both inner rims are good, no cracks. Both suspension arms, or both spring hangers rather, are good, no cracks. And then again, on this side, all my sidewalls and treads have no ABCs. Tread depth is the right depth and no signs of uneven wear. They're the right pressure and no debris in between the tires. I don't remember if I got this or not, but I'm going to do it again. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Lug nuts are tight. Hub is not leaking. Marker light is working. ABS light is not on. Clearance lights up top are working. I have my 2 reflective L's in the corners. I have reflector across the bottom of the door and across the ICC bumper. Running lights, flashers are working. License plate is present and the light for that is working. ICC bumper has no damage. Marker light is working. Now I've already been up under there, so I don't need to do it again. I don't remember if I got them mud flaps or not. Both mud flaps are good and present, and the mounting hardware is good. So now I've already been up under there, all I have to do is the tires now. So the sidewalls are all good. Sidewalls and tread are all free of ABCs. Tread depth is the right depth, no signs of uneven tire wear. Filled to the right pressure, no debris in the middle of the tires. Outer rim has no cracks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Lug nuts are tight, no leaking hub. Don't forget these. Both tandem pins are engaged. That's your final major. Over here, with this tire set, all my sidewalls and treads are free of ABCs. Tread depth is the right depth, no uneven tire wear, filled to the right pressure. Outer rim is free of any cracks. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The nuts are tight, no leaking hub. No damage to the side of my trailer or skirt. Marker light and flasher is working. And finally, the clearance light up top is working, and the landing gear on this side, no damage. Sand pad is good. And that should be the end of the trailer. Oh, the DOT tape is all the way down the side. That should be it. Alright y'all, we're almost there. Hang with me. Now it's time for the end cap. First thing you're going to do, pull out your permit book. Check it out, make sure you have everything you're supposed to have in there. Tractor registration, tractor insurance, tractor inspection, your IFTA permit, your hazmat permit, and any other permits that are pertinent to your DC. Make sure they're all current. Also make sure you have your ERG book in here, and we have our instructions for roadside inspection. Any other info you need that's pertinent to your DC, make sure you have that. And we'll get up in here and start her up. You're going to start it up to begin building pressure. While your pressure is building, you're going to talk about your windshield wipers. Make sure they work, make sure your washers work. This gives you another chance to check out your windshield in case you missed it earlier. Make sure it's free of any breaks or cracks, as well as the windows and mirrors on both sides. Those are free of breaks and cracks. Hit your city horn and your air horn. Make sure those are working good. You're going to check out and make sure your defroster and your heater are both working. You're going to reach down and feel by hand that they're both working, because you're going to already have them preset to be on. Now, about that time, if you happen to have forgotten your seatbelt earlier, this is another chance to mention your seatbelt. Do it now. Don't forget that seatbelt. That's a major. So anyway, once your pressure is built up, turn the key off and back on to the on position. And this is when you're going to do your air brake test. Now the examiner isn't going to have you actually perform the test. They're just going to have you describe what you're supposed to do. So this is the process. You're going to have your wheels chalked. You go out and you chalk your wheels. We have chalks in our truck. You chalk your wheels, and then you come back in, and with your wheels chalked, you release your air brakes. I'm not going to do it because I don't have my chocks in place. This is just for demonstration purposes. You release your air brakes and you wait for the pressure to stabilize on your dash. Once it stabilizes, you're checking to make sure you don't lose more than 3 psi in 1 minute. After that is done, you're going to firmly apply the brakes. And while holding the brakes, you're checking to make sure you don't lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. That's the applied brake test. After that, you're going to fan down the brakes. Just keep pumping them, and pumping them until your warning light and buzzer come on at around 60 psi. Then you continue pumping until both of your valves pop out between 20 and 40 psi. And then boom, that concludes the air brake test right there. Then you'll start it back up, begin building your pressure back up. And once it does build up, or rather, you're going to build it up by holding the throttle at about 1800 RPM, and you're checking to make sure that your pressure rises between 80 and 100 psi within 45 seconds. So after you check that, then you get out while you're still building the remainder of your pressure, remove your chocks, and get back in the truck, put your seatbelt back on, and roll forward at 5 miles an hour. And once you're around 5 miles an hour, you apply the brakes, make sure you're not pulling to the left or to the right, and that indicates any problems. So once you perform that 5 mile an hour check, you stop, set your brakes, turn the truck off, and then ask your trainer or your examiner to get out and do a light check for you. He or she will get out. You'll do your high beams, your low beams, your turn signals, your flashers, and they'll look at all your running lights, and he or she will walk to the back and check your brake lights, your turn signals, your flashers, your running lights and clearance lights and all that stuff. And after all that, guess what? You're done. Psych, no, you're not really done yet. One last thing to do is to unhook from the trailer. I know you guys all know how to unhook, but they have a certain process they want you to do. You're going to walk out, lower your landing gear to about 1.5 inches or so off the ground. Then unhook your air lines and your electrical line. Get back in the truck. We have a release button for the fifth wheel. No more having to pull it, Just release it and then slowly pull away, allowing the trailer to drop down that 1.5 inches and leave enough room behind the truck for the next person to do their pre-trip. And then turn the truck off, set the brakes, you are done. Alright, that's over with. That wasn't so bad, was it? Well, maybe it wasn't for you guys, but for me, it was hotter than the surface of the sun out there today. But that's okay, I had to get this done. I've been looking forward to getting this pre-trip video done for a while now. I think I did pretty good. I tried to be pretty thorough, not miss anything. It's kind of hard when you're concentrating on a few different things. Holding the phone in one hand. I'm used to doing it with 2 hands. Trying to keep you guys in frame and still remember what's next, what's next to look at. But I think I did all right. Did I miss anything? I don't know. Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you saw where I missed anything. Like I said, you're allowed to miss some items on this pre-trip examination. They don't expect you to be perfect. Nobody's going to be perfect, probably. You can miss several things and still pass. You can't miss any of those majors, obviously, as I mentioned. You have to get those. But, you don't have to be perfect. Just do the best you can out there. Concentrate. Don't get in a hurry. You have plenty of time. Speaking of time, I added up the clips, and I did do it in under 30 minutes. So that's including, me babbling and explaining some stuff from time to time. So without that, you can even do it in less. I think I did it in 23 minutes, 24 minutes, something like that. So plenty of time, and I wasn't in a rush or anything like that. So you shouldn't get in a rush either. Just concentrate on what you're doing, learn your pattern, follow your pattern, that kind of thing. So additionally, they may even allow you to combine even more things, similar to the way I did on the back tandem axles. You could maybe stand at your drive axles and point to all your tires and say, all my tires are good, no ABCs. All my brake hoses, both of my brake hoses are on this side, both of my shock absorbers on this side are good, and so on and so on and so on. You can combine things to even reduce the time that much more. So don't sweat the time, learn this process, and get it done. Now, as I mentioned, they give you a paper guide in the beginning of onboarding. So it's to your benefit to study that at night in the hotel, learn it. Take notes when the trainers show you the pre-trip, when they're showing you their expectations. Take notes. That's a good way to just get yourself ahead of the game. Now, additionally, I have a copy of that paper guide, and I made it into a PDF file. So I'm going to leave a link down in the description for you guys to click that link, and that'll bring you right to the PDF file of the complete pre-trip guide, and you can print that out ahead of time, learn it before you even come to onboarding. Follow along this video while you're looking at the paper guide, that kind of thing. It gives you a great chance to get ahead of the game. So that's it, guys. I hope this helps you. I tried to be as thorough as I could, tried to show you the proper process for doing this. That way it becomes muscle memory for you as long as you practice and do it. If this does help you, I would appreciate it if you guys would consider using me as a referral on your application. I'll leave my info up here. Doing that will, help prioritize your application ahead of those that do not have referrals, and it'll help me by giving me a bonus as well. And hey, that's not my sole motivation for doing this, but I like money just like anybody else, and if they want to give it to somebody, they may as well give it to me. So I want you also give me your comments down in that comment section. Let me know your questions. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? I don't know yet. Let me have it if I did miss something. Hopefully I was thorough, and I know I was thorough enough to pass the test. There's no question about that. But I think I might have got everything, but I might have missed one or two. Let's see if you guys can find it. All right, guys. While you're down there in the comments, give me the like and subscribe. All that kind of stuff you're supposed to do. Until I see you next time, thanks for watching.